going to jump right into it because we don't have a lot of time, and we are talking Kevin Samuels. For those of you who do not know who this is, okay, Kevin Samuels was and I say was because he recently passed away, and he was an educator, a thought leader in the realm of men and women, and specifically he spoke a lot to women and men of color specifically about the issues between them. He was noted, accused, and often thought to be extraordinarily harsh and mean. I've seen some of the most interesting accusations that he hated black women, specifically, and that he was disrespectful and unnecessarily harsh. And when he passed away, how long has it been now? Almost 2 weeks now.
Yeah, a couple of weeks.
When he passed away, there were many, many women who said that this was the judgment of the goddess, that this was some sort of payment or for a penalty, or any number of really, really not nice things to say when someone passes away. And so let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, that's one of the things that, well, a couple things stands out to me about Mr. Samuels is what he actually said versus what he is alleged to have said, which is typically, I would put that under the heading of what you heard he said.
Or what is being said that he said by taking what he's actually said out of context.
Out of context, right.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
There's a lot of that happening. And so a lot of people who have an extremely negative opinion about this individual have never actually listened to what he said.
No, not a full
broadcast. They just have a sound bite or something that somebody wrote and they said, or listening to somebody's, rant about how horrible a person he is.
Yeah. Anyone can sound like they're saying anything if you take what they say out of context. And one of the reasons why it took us so long to even want to talk about this is because we really wanted to really listen and hear what he actually said. So we listened to a number of his broadcasts, a number of his lives that were on YouTube. And I will say that they are very long.
Right.
So that's number one. We're talking 2 hours, an hour and a half. He had a lot to say. Okay. And without the context of what he was saying, it's very easy to take what he's saying out of context, because a lot of the things that he's saying was part of a conversation.
Right. He's having a conversation with someone. And this is, one of the things that I noted when I first started doing professional storytelling was they would always say that all stories are ultimately about love, right? Find the love in the story, and then you have a better idea of what the story is truly about.
Right.
And one of the things, talk about the length of his broadcast, was that there was a fundamental premise that he had. Somebody called in. He never called anybody. He said, you can call me and I will talk to you. Women would call in, tell their story about what was going on in their lives. He would see where they had gotten off track and what they were not seeing. And many times, from what I've seen, listen to those conversations, the conversation took so long because the person he was talking to refused to see the reality of the situation that they were in and how they contributed to that situation being exactly what it was. Now, where's the love? The love is that he was not dismissive of these people. I said, all right, you're an idiot. I don't want to talk to you. After a few seconds, just doing it for shock value, he would actually go chapter and verse and say, let's talk about this. Realistically, let's talk about your situation and what's going on with you, because I'm seeing something that you're not seeing. And I'm going to point it out to you if you continue to not see it. And if you continue not to see it, I'm going to hammer it home again and again and again.
Using whatever language you require.
Right. Exactly. And
Using
you know what was
whatever
amazing?
language you require. Kevin Samuels is the topic of conversation.
And you know what was amazing? Is that in most of the videos that I saw, the person ended up getting off the phone almost without exception, without ever having any sort of fundamental change in how they saw the world or their place in it or their contribution to what they were facing.
Right. So what we've noticed is that, and I talk about this quite a bit, women don't know how to listen. Even in our spaces, women will jump on something, not know what's being spoken about, not know who's talking, not know anything about their area of expertise, come in to half a conversation and want to pontificate about what they know. Women will come and ask a question and say, I want to change my life, and then begin to immediately justify every single thing that is being offered as her place of responsibility. Every type of language does not resonate with every type of person. Baba and I are people who enjoy speaking typically in a more refined, more elevated way of speech. We typically enjoy a manner of speaking that ranges from the mystical and the magical to the academic. That's the people that we are here to reach. That's how we speak. And sometimes we add a bit of church to it because that's our history and that's where we come from, right? We don't use a lot, in other words, we don't use a great deal of, shall we say, Black English vernacular in our speaking patterns. Not because we're putting on airs, but simply because that's not how we speak. And that's also, because of that, that's also the type of audience that we attract, who does not speak that way, okay? If you are a person who prefers a more refined way of speaking, it is inappropriate for you to then project that into environments where that speech is not the language of those who are part of that environment. Kevin Samuels was very good at using the language of the people that he was speaking to.
Right, yeah.
This is the part of the conversation that is left out of the conversation. You cannot, how can I say this? You cannot go to an uncultured environment with your cultured language and think that you are going to reach them. In the sacred text, it says, I have become all things to all men so that I might reach some. Some of us are here to actually take people and take them from one state to another state. But before I can take you from one state to another state, you have to be able to understand me. We're not all at the same level. I can't go into certain environments and they receive me. I know this, I learned this, and I be received in those environments because I don't speak the language of those environments. When I come into those environments, they immediately say, who the hell is she?
What does she have to
What does she have to say? I don't even know how to act like I'm in the... You would have to give me the glossary. Let's put it that way. Okay?
No.
So I am thankful for those who are able to speak that language to those people, because everyone gets an opportunity to learn at the level in which they can receive it. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Because in all honesty, when we first came across Kevin Samuels, and I just saw a clip on Instagram, the first time I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, men should not speak to women like this. This is not nice. This is not right. Women should be handled tenderly and gently and spoken to with care and consideration. So I understand those of you who feel like he's, why? I get it, because I felt like that. And then I went and listened to the whole conversation, and I was like, oh, I understand now.
Right.
I understand.
Yeah,
I understand exactly.
Because the words that he was saying and who he was talking to, there's no other way to describe those things. You have to meet people where they are, not where you would like for them to be. And so when he was talking to people and he was like, what's going on? And they started hemming and hawing and going, trying to all over the place, he would get them back on track. Look, are you listening to me? This is what I'm saying to you. And he would say it in a way that they could understand, theoretically.
Yeah. Somebody.
Because comprehend and understand are different. And so I think while the comprehension was there, right? They can comprehend the concepts, the ideas, and things like that. The understanding was often missed because they would still go away from that thing, that interaction with this kind of, I don't know, this kind of
obstinance.
Well, it was obstinance with a smile on his face. Because they would be saying, Mr. Samuels, trying to be ingratiating and cute and maybe even clever without actually listening to the substance of what he was saying to them about their own lives.
Right.
And the net of that interaction, when this would happen, would piss him smooth the F off.
Yeah.
And he would become progressively more angry.
Right.
Like, I don't even understand, why are we having this discussion? You acting like I'm not even talking to you about your life.
Right.
And they'd be like, Mr. Samuels, and he would just be getting more mad. And when I was watching the videos, I'm like, I understand.
Yeah, it was very hard to watch. We had to take
breaks.
We love y'all because we don't speak on things that we don't know about. That's number one. And so if we feel like we are supposed to speak on something, then we go and we actually listen. And so this was an act of love, okay? Because some of those
it was tough to
videos, I was just like, she's not listening.
I'm not a person that yells at TV screens or at movie screens at all. But they had me yelling at the screen. Because I had taken the...
Baba is as calm as they come.
That's why we had to take a break.
Calm.
Well, we had to take a break. Because I'm like, I can't believe this. What is wrong with you?
I was thankful. I was so thankful. I was like, you know what? I'm thankful that we all have different callings and that he was called to those people. Because see, unless you can't judge how another person walks out their purpose because you don't know the cost of their purpose.
Right.
So unless you've ever had the purpose where you are speaking to, I think somebody said heathens, that's a really beautiful way of putting it. That's a very kind way of putting it. Where you are called literally to speak to heathens, to go into the highways and the byways, the hoods, of society, and be there and try to give truth on a one-on-one basis where you are telling someone and they are refusing to hear what you're saying and just saying the same thing over and over again, week after week, day after day. If you have not walked that path or that purpose, then you should remain silent because you do not know what that feels like. And I'm being completely honest with you.